working together is gonna be legend. Wait for it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of Zero Life. I'm your host, Barrett Courtney. Some of you may know Sean is not here this week because he is being a cool boy down in Los Angeles at D23. He also went to the Game of Thrones season premiere.
That's a big weekend.
Yeah, it's been a pretty big week for Sean Pitts. But instead of Sean being here, we have a awesome special guest for the week, Miss Joey Noelle.
Hello.
The most recent full-time employee of Kinda Funny.
Yes, it's been a good month.
Yeah,
I like July.
You went to RTX.
I did go to RTX,
and that's where you guys had like your announcement of you coming on full time.
Yeah, we had our panel, which went off the rails very, very early, and then we had to like try and bring it back around of like, oh yeah, we have this announcement to make.
Yeah,
but then also Greg's just like ripping shirts off and stuff.
Yeah, that's what Greg Miller's doing what he likes to do. You know,
yeah,
and tearing off shirts and rubbing his belly on other people's bellies.
Yeah,
you know?
And then people ask me what I do, and I'm just like.
Show them that video.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You're like, maybe this.
This is my boss.
So, for some people who may not know who you are, what do you do on the internet? How would people know you?
People probably know me from Kinda Funny. Yeah. I am their community manager, and I also help run their social. Mm-hmm. And then just general corralling of our various
like events,
communities.
And stuff. Yeah,
all of our events. We try and do some like fun meetups, like whenever we do stuff. So like we did a heel kick like meetup and after party in Austin, and we did a bunch of stuff around Kinda Funny Live 3.
Yep.
So yeah, anytime we do
and
PSX
before you were you got brought on part-time community manager at the beginning of the year when the guys do their anniversary stream, right?
Yeah.
That's when that happened. And so before you were doing that, you were like sort of with like other community members like Nikki Powell and all of them, like doing like actual community, like bringing in community events for like Kinda Funny Live 2 and other events and stuff like that.
Yeah, so yeah, I started doing that with Kinda Funny Live 2 is like the first thing that we started really doing, like tried to make it a little bit bigger and like more organized so like more people could come, because before that it was like I feel like more groups of people doing stuff, but we tried to
make like an actual like cool group events that we can all hang
exactly
out at.
And like because the little events are really it's tough. The little events are really cool because you get to meet people and like they're a little bit more intimate, but the bigger ones are a little bit better for like the people that are coming to these events that don't know anybody else and are trying to find people. So we started doing that, and then PSX, and when the guys would come to like GameStop Expo and stuff like that, so started doing all of that, and then modded like Facebook group and the forums and Twitch, and
it's fun.
Now I'm here, and now I get paid to do all of that, which is really fun.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little more later on in the show. But if you don't know, this is Zero Life. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about all nerdy things, pop culture things, anything we're really passionate about. It goes up every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on youtube.com/ZeroLife, and all the good, cool podcast services. This week, though, the episode might go up a little earlier because some of you may know I'm going to Comic-Con this week.
Jealous.
It's going to be really fun. It's my first con that I'm ever going to. I think just in general. I don't think I've ever been to a con before, and then like a convention stuff like this. Like I go to the Kinda Funny Live stuff because that's here. I guess PSX, you can count PSX a little bit there.
But I feel like
Comic-Con's so big though.
Totally different monster.
And I remember, like teenage, like high school Barrett dreamt so much of going to Comic-Con, and I tried a couple of times because my good friend Jack from Ohio would always come out here because he had family down in San Diego. He would always be able to get tickets to Comic-Con somehow,
which is so hard.
I know, yeah. And so I would always try to get tickets myself, and it never worked out. But now I'm being sent there, and it's really fun. I'll be working the live show for IGN, so that'll be really fun. So the episode might go up earlier on Wednesday just because my call time for production stuff on Wednesday is still up in the air, so it might go up 9, it might go up at noon. Who knows? We'll play it by ear, but you'll know when we tweet it out and stuff. So, Joey, it's been quite a weekend of news and stuff.
It has. I feel like I missed out on a lot of this D23 stuff because we went out to brunch and we went to like an art museum. And then all of a sudden I came back and looked at Twitter and I was like, oh, wow. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened this weekend that I just don't know about.
I dropped Alyssa off because you and Alyssa are homies and you guys went to have brunch with Becky and Allie and Grimecraft and Youssef.
Yeah.
And so I dropped Alyssa off at your place and I was trying to get back here as fast as possible because I knew the sort of live action movie stuff was being announced yesterday because they had their like panel going on it from 10:30 to 12:30. So I was trying to get back here as fast as possible. It took me like a good hour to get back here because I dropped you guys off near the MoMA because you guys went to the MoMA as well. And it took me like an hour to get back. I think
that's crazy.
Yeah, traffic was really bad yesterday. It was sort of bad today as well. But you know, in San Francisco, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
How was the MoMA?
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge art person, but Youssef like knows so much about all these different pieces.
He's
and these
a smart
exhibits.
boy.
Yeah, and like I guess I didn't really realize that they don't teach you how to do that. It was just like all background stuff that he's learned like either like through school, or doing like his own research.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he made the art way more interesting for me at least of like the background and the context for everything and like why these pieces are important and the impact they've had.
Any standout pieces for you?
I don't even remember what the artist was, but he does these really cool like almost pop art pieces that are like mosaics, so they're different tiles and they create faces, and the artist has some sort of not disease, that's not the right disability where he can't recognize faces. So like even like he'll meet people like over and over again and doesn't know that it's them until he hears their voice. So he uses that as like a way to like help him like recognize people. And then I guess he had an accident where he'd become paralyzed from the neck down. So he paints in these like 3x3 squares just because that's his range of motion now. Fascinating.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And they're like huge, like 15-foot pieces.
Wow, you gotta think like the process of making that is forever.
Of like, oh my gosh, like how do you keep perspective on the whole piece while only painting like small chunks at a time?
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Have you been up to anything else besides looking at cool art pieces and anything this week? You went to RTX, right?
I went to RTX, which was awesome. That was like also similar to you, one of my first conventions, because I'd never been to like a PAX or anything like that. And it was my first one outside of California because I usually just stick with the California stuff. So it was really awesome, and like I've become a bigger fan of Rooster Teeth over the last couple of years. So
naturally, did you get to see Adam Kovic at all?
I did see Adam Kovic.
He's the most handsome person.
He's really handsome. So we went to go pick up our convention badges, and we walked to Easy Tiger to go get beers. And we were like waiting on a corner at a crosswalk, and it was me and Alex Aziz, and then on the other side was Elise and James Willems and Adam Kovic. And Elise and I have had like a lot of like interactions on Twitter and stuff like that, and we've like tried to get together in LA. So I like yelled across the sidewalk. I was like, Elise. And she like looks at me and she's like just waves. I was like, it's Joey from Kinda Funny. She's like, oh, this is exciting. So then we like met, we all five of us met in the middle, had awkward hugs, and we're like, okay, we got to go by. So we can see the timer like talking down.
Sort of happens at conventions though. A lot of like it's really great to see you, but we're all really busy and have to go do
we're
stuff.
all running to the next thing. But he's a good looking guy.
Yeah, he is very handsome. Have you been playing anything or watching anything fun or anything?
So I started another farm in Stardew Valley.
Okay, yeah, you're on that Stardew Valley train
like
still.
Super hard. I know.
This is still just on the PS4, right? It hasn't come to Switch.
Hasn't come to Switch. I don't have a Switch yet, but that'll be like that'll be the death of me.
That'll
be
like
portable Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah,
and then I just won't ever play anything else
like
ever again.
Like I already got on the Switch game there, but I'm very excited for portable Rocket League because that'll be very exciting.
That'll be like a similar
like get up and go and play Rocket League wherever I want because I like playing Rocket League. But again, it's one of those things where like I gotta sit in here and play it while this is like already in bed and stuff. Yeah, and it's like Persona 5 where I just want it on the go.
But you can actually get this one on the go.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm very excited. And they're also including multiplayer, right?
So I don't really play on my PS4 too much anymore because I bought it on Steam, so I can play on my laptop, which is like really helpful because it's the whole
like
portability
a casual,
thing.
Like super nerd, right? You're you're not full super nerd where you're building your PC.
No,
and stuff.
I have it on my Mac laptop. Like this is not like optimal PC gaming.
Can you still plug in a controller into a Mac to like be able
You'd have to pair it. I have one of those weird laptops that only has the one like USB-C
okay.
port, so
Yeah.
I don't do it, and I just
Do the mouse and
keyboard. Yeah, the trackpad. It totally sucks. So then I was playing at the office after work on Friday, and that was much better because it was like mouse and keyboard. But it's a nice thing to have like on the go because I feel like I travel and I'm like always staying at various places. I feel so it's super handy. So I started a new farm because I wanted to jump into that.
So what's the moments that, like, I've never really understood the actual gameplay of Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Like, if people have tried to explain it to me. I've watched Jonathan Dornbush play like a couple minutes of it, and I'm still like, what is this game?
I don't like. I couldn't even tell you like what about it like hooked me.
Okay.
Because I don't even really know what it is. Like I don't have like some secret desire to like own a farm and like grow cauliflower or anything like that, or like fight cute little dungeon monsters. Like,
natural like farming, like everyday farming life.
Exactly.
Fighting natural little gnomes. I don't know. I don't know how to speak anymore.
They're so cute. They're these little like blobby.
If they're cute,
they look
why
like
do you have
flubber.
to fight them?
I don't know because they attack you.
Oh god.
You have no choice. If we could just like live in peace, that would be the greatest. But yeah, I don't even play the game right because there's like a whole like relationship portion of it that I just like don't care about.
So it's part dating sim as well.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
You don't get into that at all.
No, I'm very concerned about growing my. It's just a lot. There's a lot of work.
Okay.
Clearly,
you don't need to be in a relationship. Sometimes you just gotta focus on the farm.
Yeah, the farm and killing monsters and
everyday life.
Exactly. I also have in my like main save. I have a really, really productive winery. So real priorities here, clearly. But yeah, there's a whole like dating sim part. I started a new save because I like actually want to play it correctly because there's you get like evaluated at year 3 and like you can get all these things.
Like, do relationships help any perks with the farming aspect?
I mean, they kind of like they can like water your plants for you.
Okay.
But you can also just
do that
craft
yourself.
Sprinklers and then you don't have to worry about it. So
who needs relationships when you can have sprinklers?
Exactly. The Joy Noelle story.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's something I don't know. It's like the grinding and like kind of the monotony of it is. It's like a good like I don't really.
It's
have
like
to
you
think.
don't have to think about anything. Yeah, I totally get that. Like, even though that's not my kind of game, like I totally get that not having to think. That's why after coming home, I totally don't play Persona 5 and I go into Rocket League for a little bit because I don't have to think about it. Where Persona 5, it's like this whole big story and a lot of emotions going on. It's like hard to keep track of like what's going on with this person and like is my relationship with this person doing well. Like it's a lot.
Yeah, 1,000%. It's just like a lot of times when I get home, it's like I don't want to like interact necessarily. I just want to consume, and that's like in the games wise, that's the best one I found that has like the highest just consumption and lowest like management necessarily.
Totally.
Or I guess maybe it's just like management so outside of what my daily life is that I have like the capacity to do that.
Yeah.
So versus like it's hard to maintain like actual real life friendships. It's like, oh, I can't be stressed about real life stuff and like game stuff at the same time. So.
Yeah. I've been binging Silicon Valley.
Oh, see, this is one that I want to get into.
Yeah. I watched the first season when it was airing, right?
Okay.
And then I never followed up when the second season came out. I don't know if I was busy or what was going on, but like since we have HBO Go now, mainly we got that for Game of Thrones, but after I was done binging Game of Thrones last year, like I kept telling myself, like, all right, I'm gonna get back into Silicon Valley, and I don't know what made me finally do it, but I got into it, and it's a really good show. It's like it's not like laugh out loud funny, but they're put in funny scenarios, and like when it reminds me a little bit of The Office, where it takes a little bit to when you get to know the characters, and then you sort of figure out their rapport with each other. That's when it starts getting funny.
Okay.
The teacher guy from Spider-Man, who takes him on like the field trip, plays a character named Guilfoyle in the show, and his relationship with, oh man, I forget his name, the Pakistani guy from, he's in the Big Short now, the Big Sick.
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
Man,
I'm seeing that tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
yes, that'll be
Kumail?
cool.
Is that his name?
Yeah, I forget the character's name though. Dinesh, thank you. Their whole like rapport with each other is fucking hilarious. And so when you get relationship building. That's when it gets really good. But I'm bummed that now that I think I'm fully caught up at this point. I'm bummed that TJ Miller is no longer going to be a part of it.
I know, and there seems to be like a lot of animosity in that.
Yeah,
that's coming
he had that
out.
interview where he was like, "Fuck all the producers except Mike Judge." I was like, "Oh, that's a little weird."
I know, and that's like I feel like
It's
that's
a
a
shitty
shitty
way to
thing.
go out.
Yeah, especially when the show's still going on.
Yeah.
If it was like in a couple years when the show's ended, then it's
Yeah,
like,
okay.
but it sucks
then-
when everybody's like in the middle of it.
Yeah, so I've been watching that. The Zelda DLC came out, and that's been pretty fun. I've been keep grinding through the challenge rooms to unlock the full potential of the Master Sword. Got through so there's like 3 waves of rooms. So you have like the beginning trials, and I was able to get through that pretty easily. The middle trials, which I beat like last week, and then last night I was going through the final trials, and oh god, it's so hard.
Oh no.
They start you off with no weapons in this one room, and it's raining and lightning, and with lightning, if you pick up anything metal, it can like hit you, and so you have to like use exclusively like wooden weapons, and all of these enemies are surrounding you, like already know that you're there, and so you're running around throwing bombs at them and like, keep running. And like I got pretty far because it starts off with like lightning rooms, and then there's fire rooms, and then like cold rooms, and then after that they have you go through a wave of fighting like just guardians. And so I got through that wave eventually, but the last room I was in, they dropped me in, and there's a Lionel, and I don't know if you know
I
the
haven't
Lionel.
played through Zelda yet.
The Lionel is like basically like a centaur, but instead of like a human torso, it's a lion.
Oh,
and it's the hardest enemy. The gold Lionel would be like the hardest enemy you can find besides the boss fights. And so they drop like a blue Lionel in there, also with like 10 bokoblins, like the little goblin dudes, and then also like a tower guardian, and I died in like 2 seconds. It's like, all right, fuck
I have
this.
no chance right now in this fight.
So that's where I left off last night in the Zelda DLC. So that's really all I've been up to, and I've also been rewatching the Marvel movies as well.
Oh, I saw that you guys were trying to craft
we were
timeline.
Not to spoil too much from Spider-Man, because it is a recent movie, so I don't know if everybody's seen it, but there's something you should see it. It's fucking awesome. There's something there that they say at one point that like makes the timeline a little weird. So Alyssa and I tried to start putting together what the timeline actually was. Of like, we found out that Avengers the movie actually takes place in 2010 and not 2012, the year it was released.
Interesting.
Because
how'd you figure that out?
So Iron Man is definitely 2008, because in Spider-Man Homecoming they mention an event happening in 2008 that definitely puts Iron Man, the first one, in 2008. And then Iron Man 2 happens a year later in 2009 in Tony's birthday. And through references to other movies, we found out that Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor all happen in the same week.
Whoa.
And so Thor definitely happens in 2009. And in the Avengers movie, they say last year when you came here. So that would place the Avengers in 2010. So we did some reworking. We found some things out, and it all sort of makes sense, but it doesn't really matter, you know.
No, it's all a little convoluted.
So because we did that, I got nostalgic about all the Marvel movies. So I've been watching through them. We watched Winter Soldier last night. Man, that movie is still fucking awesome. So good.
I feel like I need to give the Marvel Cinematic Universe another try, because I've been. We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get to that point. But anyway, D23 is happening.
Yes.
Or it happened by the time you guys are watching this. So Avengers Infinity War, they released some sort of trailer. It seems akin to like the first Justice League trailer. Do you remember?
Oh,
Where it was
yeah.
like sort of a trailer, but it was sort of also like a concept video as well.
Let's just look at all these people and characters that are going to be in this.
There's some really cool stuff. I don't want to say too much because of possible spoilers for Thor. So I'll avoid
Ragnarok?
Which
I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Especially, I watched Thor 2 yesterday as well, and that had like no life to it. So I'm excited that at least from the trailer, there seems to be some life and some style to Thor Ragnarok. But there might be some spoiler stuff with Thor Ragnarok, which might be why they haven't released it on the internet yet. Because everybody's up in arms of like, they showed it at D23, but they haven't released it officially. My guess is that they're waiting for Ragnarok to come out before they release it everywhere.
October, November?
That's November 3rd, I believe. Okay. I think that's the date. But there's some cool stuff. Apparently, Spidey's spider sense is confirmed because that was sort of up in the air in this movie. But they showed like a tease of it actually like happening in real time. A lot of cool shots of like Doctor Strange and Iron Man and like Star-Lord fighting with like
just so crazy,
fighting alongside each other against Thanos. Apparently there's a shot of Thanos basically destroying a moon and like throwing pieces of the moon at people and stuff. So a lot of like crazy big spectacle things. I don't know if Infinity War will be a good movie, but I think it'll be a fun movie.
Yeah.
Very much like, I don't think of the first Avengers movie is a good movie. I think it's a great like crossover event. It reminds me of like big events in comic books, right? Where there's no like emotional substance, there's no like crazy plot going on,
no like
it's
character development really.
Yeah, it's just an excuse to like mash all these characters together, which is like, just because I don't think it's exactly good doesn't mean I'm not going to have a fun time. Like, I had a fun time watching Avengers. I had a fun time seeing Avengers 2. So I'm expecting to have a fun time with this one. So, and that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think it's when you get to have this many characters in a movie.
And they said, like, they're having, like, at least 60 in this one.
Like, you have to pick and choose your battles, and I think at that point it's like we can't have this like super crazy in-depth plot line. We can't have like all like we don't have the time to focus on all these characters and the nuances between them, and you just kind of have to make it like a fun,
it's a fun smorgasbord of action sequences, which I'm totally down for. And apparently the movie that's coming out a year later, that's also an Avengers movie, was originally, it was going to be Infinity War Part 1, Part 2, but now Part 2 is being named something else. They haven't named it yet because apparently it's a spoiler for Part 1. I don't know. It's all weird and stuff. So
there's so many things.
But there's two stories, from what I understand, are tied to each other. So at least they're giving themselves a little longer time to maybe add some sort of things of substance there, of emotional depth and whatnot. But besides Infinity War, they also showed the trailer for A Wrinkle in Time. Did you ever read those books as a kid?
Is it Madeline Lingle?
Yes.
I don't know. I never knew how to say her last name. I feel like I read the first. Are there multiple?
Yeah, see, I didn't know that there were multiple until last night when Alyssa told me that there's
then
like
I definitely
series.
read the first one.
Yeah,
I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I know that I've read it.
Yeah. Really weird, trippy like it was a sci-fi book from the 60s, like late 60s, I want to say, or maybe early 70s, and like really psychedelic, like traveling through space and time and all that stuff. My dad, I remember, really liked it, and I remember him reading it to me when I was younger. But I'm at the same boat where I like vaguely remember some plot points. Like there were some things in the trailer where I was like, that looks familiar. The trailer looks fun. It weirdly, like, the production of this reminds me a lot of Tomorrowland with George Clooney, where it's like, it's on the edge of like super cheesy, like CGI, and on the fence of that, and like also like actually like good like CGI and like production value and all that stuff. It's because it's Disney. It's always like up in the air if like if this is gonna be like Spy Kids or like Hunger Games. I don't know. It's
Dude,
like,
but I love Spy Kids.
Spy Kids is lit. Yeah. I remember seeing Spy Kids 3D in theaters and putting on the 3D glasses. It was such a big, like, it was so cool. And then little did I know, years later, I'd be like, 3D stupid.
I know. 3D was such like a fun gimmick, and then everyone started using it, and then it's like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah. But yeah, the trailer looks really cool. You haven't seen it, right?
No.
I recommend checking it out. It's got Chris Pine playing the dad who like figures out like how to travel through space and time and whatnot.
That's so interesting.
He's looking pretty hot in it too. He's sort of got like the dad vibe.
The dream daddy vibe.
Yeah, he really does. Like he's got like the whole beard and like longer hair going on.
Oh, I'm into that.
Chris Pine is like always like, no matter what look he has, he always looks good.
Yeah.
It just makes me really upset.
I feel like we're in a weird period of time where like all of these like guys and like celebrities that I've had a crush on like throughout the last 10 years are now dads. I'm like, this is weird. This is a weird transition. I don't know how I feel about this.
Even oh man, I'm blanking on his name. Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Steve Carell is looking hot right now.
That silver fox look. Whoo.
I like to call him Gray Daddy because I think it's funny.
I like that. If we could talk to Vernon Shaw and get some sort of like DLC where it's just the Steve Carell version in Dream Daddy, that'd be great. Vernon, if you're watching this, please make it happen.
That would be dope. Get that in there. And also, the last thing with last big thing of D23 with movie wise is the Star Wars tease. Wasn't really a trailer. It was sort of like a hype video. It was like if Tim Geddes was brought in of like, how do we get people hyped for Star Wars? We don't just do a trailer. We do a behind the scenes shit.
Yeah.
Totally reminded me of that. And like the editing style is like, this is a Tim Geddes ass move right here. Really excited for it. Like what they were doing like interviews with all the actors and them talking about like what Rian Johnson wrote for this story is very exciting and very new for Star Wars. And so I've been on the Rian Johnson hype train since before even Episode 7 came out, just because I love his work, previous work with, oh God, why am I blanking out on everything? He's done work for Breaking Bad. He also did Looper with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and
Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis, yeah. And then, so he's done like really great work so far. And so I'm really excited for this story. A little more grounded, I think, and just seeing all the behind the scenes stuff just makes me so giddy and excited.
I know.
How you feeling? Did you watch the teaser?
I was like literally off the grid all of yesterday. We drank a lot of champagne and then I took a nap. No, I'm really excited. I did see all the posters. I thought
posters were really cool. I think
like
the all red was a very interesting choice.
1,000%. There's been a lot of like focus on red as a color throughout all of like the marketing stuff that they've put out.
And we talked to Sean and I talked about this a while back ago, but every time that they have like the Star Wars logo red, there's usually a theme of someone turning sides. Like in the first time they did it was Return of the Jedi, where Vader turns back to good. They did it for Revenge of the Sith when Anakin turns to Vader. And now they're doing it for this one, so I'm thinking there might be some change of viewpoint, whether it's Rey going to the dark side or if it's Kylo Ren going to the light side, or maybe both.
I feel like there has to be, because I want it to be Kylo Ren seeing light.
Yeah, like coming back.
But that's so unbalanced.
Yeah, and apparently like there have been interviews with the actor for Rey saying that her character, when she meets Luke, he's nothing like she imagined him being. So there might be some frustrations with Rey and Luke, and maybe that's some change with like her and her turmoil going on there. Like maybe the dark side isn't all that bad for her. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's interesting that they kept all red. Maybe not just for a change in sides, but maybe like, you know, red signifying like sort of violence and death. Maybe there's a lot of bloodshed in this one, so we'll see for that.
I'm so excited. Whatever it is,
I'm a little nervous. I don't want Luke to die, and it's like I'm interested to see what they do with Leia's character, because they've confirmed that they're not recasting her, and they're not doing the weird CGI Tarkin thing for her in 9. So like, what happens to her character?
And she
in this
got
one?
like a poster, which
she
I was
got a
like
poster
kind of
too.
surprised about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of glad. I'm glad that they're not like, she's in this movie, you know, like even though she's passed on, like she's in this movie. We don't want to like push her away from that spotlight, right? And like in the teaser trailer, they end with her like interviewing her of like saying like it's about family, and that's why this is so great.
Star Wars Fast and Furious crossover.
God, no. I brought up that, I said it, and I knew you were gonna say something about it.
Oh, that would be the dream.
The Rock just comes in with
Vin Diesel coming in
man.
on a TIE fighter.
Jesus.
Oh, that'd be so great. Make it happen, someone.
So it was a really cool hype trailer. It did what it needed to do, and I'm glad that they didn't do full trailer. And I talked about this last week, where I didn't think they were going to do a full trailer because it felt like too far off. I think they're going to do full trailer probably for Thor Ragnarok, since they're all under the Disney sort of helm now.
Yeah.
I think Ragnarok would be the perfect time, like closer, to tease some more plot points without getting too spoilery too fast. Because I feel like that was their same game for Force Awakens.
Are you going to be on like a blackout for Star Wars stuff, or how do you...
I was on a pretty
that?
good... Because here's the thing, like I spoil shit for myself like all the time. Like
Yeah.
I knew the quote-unquote twist for The Dark Knight Rises, where... the female love interest was actually Talia al Ghul beforehand. I knew that the Joker was in the in Batman Arkham Knight before playing it. So like,
Spoilers don't ruin it for you then?
Spoilers don't really ruin it, but for Force Awakens, I went knowing nothing. So I think I'll do that again for this one. I don't know if... I think I have to say, because for Force Awakens, I didn't see it like first night. I waited until I could go home to see it with my dad because, you know, we saw all the prequels together, and even though the prequels were terrible, that was like our thing we had together. And like Star Wars, I associate heavily with my dad, so I think I might also delay seeing it to see it with the Courtney family as well. So we'll see how that works. So a little short story for you. See it with my dad, go to Cleveland, right? And both of us hate 3D. We don't like 3D. It's awful. And so my dad he only likes to see at one theater where it's reserved seating, and it's also really recliner chairs, like where you can lay down and shit.
Those are the best.
He loves those. And so he refuses to go to any other theater now. And so he got tickets for this theater, and they were like almost sold out. So we were like second row. And this, even though you can lay down, it's still like really awkward to look up. And he thought he got 2D, but we got 3D accidentally.
No.
So the first time I saw Star Wars, I was like, I don't know if I like this or not, because this experience sort of sucks for me.
Yeah.
And he was the same way, where he's like, he couldn't tell because we were watching 3D in like the second row. It was really weird.
That's like, yeah. And if
so we got to make sure none of that shit happens this time around. Eric Courtney, I'm looking at you. Got to make sure we don't get that 3D this time around.
No.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna go blackout. What about you?
I think I spoil stuff for myself all the time too, especially because I really like scary movies, but I like, in order to not like have a total like anxiety attack in the middle of the movie, I have to know what happens. And that doesn't ruin it for me. But with something like Star Wars, I think I will try and avoid most things. But it's also hard with like the industry that we work in. It's really hard to avoid stuff.
Thankfully, like Sean will definitely want to see it the first night because he works in social media and like things will absolutely get spoiled for him. My position's a little like better with that because, you know, I go in and I make content and I don't have to like go into the comments section and whatnot. So
but even just like working with people that are talking about it, I think is hard.
Definitely, that's going to be hard, and I didn't think about that at all as well. Because like when Rogue One came out, we did see Rogue One the first night it came out, and then, but yeah, when I saw Force Awakens, I wasn't in the industry yet, so I was able to sort of close myself off. But now I'm thinking about it, it's gonna be a tough like week or so. Yeah, so that's December 15th, I believe. So it's gonna be like it's gonna be a hard week of like not hearing anything. So we'll see.
Also, thank you to Mr. Star Wars, Mr. Disney, for giving me Star Wars as an early birthday present for these last few years. It's been really great.
Game of Thrones, by the time you guys are watching this, the premiere has premiered, and maybe it was awesome, maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
You don't watch Game of Thrones?
No,
and
I
that's
give
totally understandable.
0 fucks about Game
and
of
that's
Thrones.
Totally fine. And I would make the argument that the last season 6, was the first good season of Game of Thrones. There's a lot of like building up to things. The first 5 seasons have good tentpole episodes, but there's a lot of building up. And like the first season's a great example where I thought the first season was boring as fuck until the last episode, where it was like, oh, this is what this show is. Like, oh, I'm down with this. And then there's a lot of building up and a lot of filler, I feel like. And so I feel like season 6, which was the first season that takes place after the books, because like he hasn't finished the series yet. So season 6 was
such a
the
weird
first
thing.
I know. And I think it's fucking hilarious that he told the showrunners the ending in case he dies before finishing this book, because he takes so goddamn long. So season 6 was the first thing, like sort of spoiling what hasn't happened in the books yet. And I think since the showrunners didn't have to like be tied to the books, they could sort of run away with some things, and I think it made a first solid season. So I'm finally into Game of Thrones, like all in, and I'm excited for the season premiere tonight. And I imagine Sean and I will talk more about it next week. And then the last sort of news thing before we get into the topic of the show is Jodie Whittaker has been announced as the new Doctor for Doctor Who, being the first female Doctor for Doctor Who.
I think that's awesome. I was looking at it was announced this morning, right? Yeah. Spoilers, timestamp, Sunday morning. But I was looking through Twitter and like it was blowing up. Like everybody was talking about it. Because I think she's from Broadchurch.
She's from Broadchurch. I recognize her from Attack the Block, which is I don't think it was directed by Edgar Wright, but it's that group of people like the Shaun of the Dead guys and stuff. And that was actually FN 218 Finn, who's the actor of Finn from Star Wars. John Boyega. That was his, I think, debut movie. It was basically like it's his character and a bunch of his friends live in the ghetto in London, and there's an alien invasion happening in their sort of block, and so it's a bunch of sort of kids who make trouble a lot fighting off aliens, and it's fucking hilarious. And
that sounds
John
awesome.
Boyega is awesome in it, and it's also got it has the sidekick friend from Shaun of the Dead in that as well, and it's really funny. You guys
I like
should
that
definitely
cinematic universe.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, she's from Broadchurch as well, and she's also in a show called Doctors or something. So she has experience playing a doctor, even though it's totally not related whatsoever. But yeah, there's a lot of excitement. I saw Sean, who was really excited that they finally went with a female doctor. Mm-hmm. I like the female doctor. I was just hoping for Rupert Grint, because I would love Rupert Grint to be in the show in some way, shape, or form. And throughout the series, the doctor has always talked about wanting to be a redhead. So I think that would be pretty boss. But, I'm very excited. I'm not, I vaguely remember her from Attack the Block, so I don't know, acting-wise, how she is. But I am more interested to see how the showrunner works with because that's the main relationship you got to worry about is how well this doctor works with the showrunner. So I'm confident in a woman doctor. There's a lot of people on the internet who's like, not my doctor. The PC fucking people are getting all over the fucking place with.
Oh yeah, because
women are in everything now, and it's like, yeah, it's
when you're over 50% of the population, that happens.
Yeah, and it's you guys got to stop making this a big deal, because it's for so long, fictional media can't just be for men.
Yeah.
It's women want to find an escape and empathize with people, they can put their shit put themselves in other people's shoes, right?
Yeah.
And for so long, it's just been men in the front sort of light, and it's fucking awesome to have female characters have that front light now, where the lead in Star Wars is a female character, and we're finally getting Wonder Woman, the first sort of big hit female superhero movie is fucking awesome, and it's great to see that kind of stuff. And so,
I loved Wonder Woman just because it was cool to see a character that embraced both sides of being a woman, of I can be this strong independent woman, but I can also show emotion of I love the scene where she just diverts and it's a baby. It's you can have these two sides, because I think a lot of the struggle is how do you balance that, and I think that's something that at least I struggle with, of
because especially in the nerd community, I feel a lot from their in their way, they put women in boxes of this is how a woman should be, and they're not
one or the other.
Yeah, and they're not interesting or deep enough to be a main character or whatever, and that's total fucking bullshit. So I'm glad that there's more front light for women characters, and I
was very happy on my timeline that I didn't see anybody doing that. So
I saw more people calling out those kind of people, and I did see some from the main Doctor Who posts and screenshots of people bitching and complaining. But yeah, it's whatever. They're dumb. I'm happy that we're finally getting this new female doctor, and I'm interested to see if I like her more than Capaldi, because I was Capaldi was the most recent doctor, and I think he was fine. I love Matt Smith. That's the doctor.
I see a lot of competition between the 10th and 11th Doctor.
I think Tennant is great for his time. It's trying to compare it to something else that more people would understand, because I know Doctor Who is a very, very niche thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's it's hard to explain, but I think Tennant was great while it was going on, and I think after I think the first season of Smith took a little bit to get rolling with his character, and I think halfway through that season, when we finally get good character development out of him and his companions, I think it outshines 10 tenfold. So a little pun there for you, tenfold. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's really, really rad. But anyway, Joey.
Yes.
We're here to talk about you. No more news bullshit, D23, whatever. By the time you guys are watching this, Comic-Con's about to happen. More exciting things. I'm excited to see what comes out of Comic-Con. But
I love summer. Yeah, there's always so many fun things.
Really exciting. But we're here to talk about you and your sort of journey throughout games media and whatnot. So I'm going to ask you, first and foremost, you're part of Kinda Funny now, full time.
I am, full time.
How did you find Kinda Funny?
How did I find Kinda Funny?
Because I always tell people I fell ass backwards into randomly finding them on the internet one day. So.
I am not. I fall in your camp of like not the traditional way of like I didn't read IGN. I found them not through IGN.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna start like with my gaming background because I feel like that kind of like builds up to it. But grew up with my dad playing games. I always had like an N64 and like Pokemon Snap. Best
Pokemon Snap
N64
is a bad
game.
It's a bad game.
This is a discussion. Well, do we want to get into this?
Let's get into it for a couple minutes.
Okay.
We have a couple minutes to talk about this. Pokemon Snap would be a great mobile game, and that's what Pokemon Go almost was.
And Pokemon Go is why I don't think we're ever gonna get a Pokemon Snap 2.
Oh yeah, and
that makes me so sad.
What's you move the thing around and that's the gameplay.
Okay, but you're also talking to the girl that really likes Stardew Valley, so I feel like it's just a me game that I really like.
I guess.
And the Pokemon are just so cute. So I don't really know a whole lot about Pokemon other than I know which ones I like, but I don't know what they do or they're just so cute.
Yeah, I guess. But it's I don't know.
I have no good argument for why I like it.
It's weird to have a game where all it is just you taking pictures. I don't know. It's just that doesn't seem interesting enough for me. And
you could say that about a farming game too, but here I am, 150 hours in.
But at least there's gameplay elements. You're literally just moving around taking pictures.
But there's you have all these you have little treats and these things to get them to move, so you get the best pick. No, not selling you on it yet.
I think.
Did you ever play it?
I played it a little bit as a kid for a day because that was prime we're renting from Blockbuster sort of days. So I remember
I have to play 8 hours of this game to maximize my money's worth.
Yeah,
on this.
so I got that in Coliseum, and I played way more of Coliseum that day.
Yeah.
I played probably a half hour to an hour of Snap, and I was like, this is dumb. And then I played Coliseum, and I liked Coliseum, but I was even as a kid, I was I want a full Pokemon game on a Nintendo console, not just the handheld shit, So, yeah, that's just my stance on Pokemon in general.
Yeah. Pokemon Snap is the only Pokemon game I've ever played, and the only one I care about. So I feel like I don't have a lot backing me on this argument. Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, you had Pokemon Snap on the N64.
Big fan of the N64.
Did you play any? What else would you play on the N64?
Mario Kart, obviously. The best Mario Kart.
Well, what's your favorite track on the N64? Because I feel like the N64, even though, if you're people who are Double Dash is the best one, and the Wii,
it's fine.
The people who are idiots and say the Wii one is the best one. Have you played that recently? Because that does not hold up whatsoever. That's literally why I sent my little sister our Wii U, was because I was I went home last summer, I played the Wii version, I was this game sucks, and so I sent her the Wii U so she could have Mario Kart 8 and play with a regular goddamn controller.
Yeah.
So I feel like the N64 one is the prime one, maybe not for gameplay, but for tracks itself.
Yeah, I haven't played it in a very long time. Yeah. But playing the Switch version has really just reinforced my love for Rainbow Road N64.
Rainbow Road, and it bums me out that I think for the Mario Kart 8 version they shortened the track and now it's only one lap around instead of the whole 3. I also miss. I don't think they do the fireworks of the characters anymore. In the new one. And that was the whole appeal. You got to see Yoshi and Bowser and all these cool fireworks and stuff. I loved that. I really liked that one. I liked the Bowser's Castle for N64.
I hate Bowser's Castle.
So good. And then because you go inside the castle and you got the moving block dudes. I don't know what they're called.
The little swamp guys.
Yeah, and then I really liked the interior of that Bowser's Castle. And then Toad's Turnpike, classic.
You gotta give it a shout out.
Yeah, exactly. I also really liked the Donkey Kong track, the Donkey Kong Jungle or whatever they called that one. Yeah, whatever.
It doesn't resonate.
Okay.
I know that you're.
I love Donkey Kong. Yeah. It's the fucking best. It's the fucking best.
Yeah.
Anyway, what other tracks did you like?
Rainbow Road's the only one, just because I haven't played it in so long.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like it's just that's the perfect between that and Mario Party. I feel like that was a lot of my childhood.
Mario Party was lit.
I know people hate on Mario Party.
3, I think, was good.
Yeah.
After 3 was when I fell off, and then I didn't play until Wii, and I was this is fine. And then the Wii U one was awful.
Really?
Yeah, it was So it's all about like being a board game in separate pieces. The Wii U version is like you all are in one cart.
Oh,
and you take turns.
I have played this.
Yeah,
no, I don't
bad.
like that at all.
It's real bad.
No,
I want
there's
a
like
Mario Party for the
there's-
Switch, and then like an actual Mario Party game.
Yeah.
You know, that would be awesome.
With online multiplayer, so you play with all your
Yeah,
friends.
dude, hell yes. Because I love the sort of like mini game, sort of. It's a board game, but just on a console.
Yeah,
You know.
and the mini games are so fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to that stupid whatever Shy Guy game on N64 where you had to like crank the joystick.
Okay.
And you like I would have like marks in my palms from like trying to do it so fast. So I think at some point we're
Remember
like,
the one I remember playing the most was on the cover where Mario's a cowboy, and I think that was 3.
I don't remember that one.
And because like all the different boards have different themes, right?
Yes. The
and
Western one's fun.
Yeah.
I like the scary one.
Yeah, I remember the Western one because I remember my stepdad at the time. I don't think he was my stepdad yet. My mom was dating him at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We would play the Western one a lot because you had the sort of like gun one where you had to like press like right when it said go.
And then the one with the flags.
Yeah, and then you had like the classic ones where like you have the stage rolling around and you have to push each other off. Like
Or
while
you're like rolling on the balls.
Yeah, exactly. God, it's so good.
And the tiles that would like move up and down in the lava.
They're not like fucking pushing gameplay, right? But there's,
No,
like,
but
fun
it's
party
fun.
games.
Yeah. It's,
I
like,
want
super
more
casual.
like board like games on the Switch to like play on the go.
Yeah.
The Game of Life on the go would be fucking rad.
Like the board game?
Yeah, Game of Life, hell yeah.
That'd be fun.
Hell yeah. Monopoly,
I don't
maybe
know
not
if
so
it's-
much because I think
Oh,
Monopoly
I love
was-
Monopoly. Monopoly's
was-
coming
yeah.
to Switch.
I'll play if you get Monopoly somewhere somehow on the Switch. I'll
Oh
play
yeah,
some Monopoly with
I
you.
love Monopoly.
Are they doing
in real life.
multiplayer? Like, can you do
I don't
online
know.
multiplayer? That'd be
We'll
cool.
have to figure that out.
Yeah.
But I'm a general proponent of Monopoly in general.
Yeah.
It was not a popular stance as a kid. Everyone's like, you want to play like the most boring game, and it takes forever. And that was the key to winning, is that I would just keep playing, and everyone else would quit. And that's why I would win. But yeah,
Patience is key, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I fucks around with Monopoly. You know,
Yeah.
it's not my go-to, but like if someone's like, "Hey, let's play Monopoly," I'm like, "All right." I don't argue against it.
yeah, I feel like I've moved more towards like the Settlers of Catan, the Ticket to Ride.
God, I hate Ticket to Ride.
Really?
Because I'm so bad at it.
How are you?
I don't know, but like Ticket to Ride was a big thing in high school for like my
Okay.
friends and I, because my friends love board games, and every time we would play, I just fucking lose every time. So I don't like board.
We might have to
I don't
bring
like
it
Ticket to
back.
Ride. Yeah.
We played the European edition, which I thought was really fun.
All right.
But
Yeah.
we'll work on that.
Okay, so playing a lot
Tangent.
of N64. Yeah. So going through the N64.
Yeah, N64 was like the last major I had an PS2, but we really only used that for like Rock Band and Guitar Hero and Dance Dance Revolution, which they should also
all
bring
right.
back.
I didn't play a lot of Dance Dance Revolution at home, but that was like a weirdly at school we had it.
That
For
is
part
weird.
of like we would had workout stations, and one of the workout stations was Dance Dance Revolution.
That's awesome.
It was fucking hilarious.
Dude, I miss DDR. My parents
Yeah.
got rid of my PS2 and the dance pads, and I am really sad about that.
Man. So sort of casual games in the PS2.
Super casual games on PS2.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk on N64. GoldenEye. The whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
But like a pretty casual gamer, like overall.
Okay.
And then after that, like in high school and in college, I like didn't really play at all. Like occasionally I would jump in for like a Halo match, but that's mostly because all my guy friends would fight over who got me on their team because I was like a super easy kill. So, but it's like I was always like had fun with it, but it wasn't like something that I necessarily like chose.
Went out of your way to do.
Yeah, 1,000%. And then after college, we had met like a new group of friends, and a couple of the guys in that group of friends were going to the Art Institute, and they were going to school for environment art. So we started like hanging out with them a lot more, and they were like really strong, like big PS players in general, and like we still
PlayStation fanboys
yeah.
and stuff. Okay.
And we didn't like play a ton of games with them ever, but it was just like always around. Like I remember walking into their room and had like a giant like Kratos poster and stuff like that, which I didn't know at the time, but I learned.
And
who's
so this big, beefy, white, pasty man with red lines
I have
on
a picture of my best friend who's like 6 foot tall, like ballerina, like redheaded, making the same like pose next to the poster, and it's still like one of my favorite pictures because I'm like, you have no idea who that is or what you're doing, and it's awesome. But so because we were like friends with them and we'd hang out all the time, there was one night where Galen was like, hey, like I want you to watch this YouTube video. I was like, okay, what is it? And he was like, it's this guy that reviews Oreos. I'm like,
Okay.
this sounds dumb. Why would I watch this? I was like, I don't even really care about Oreos that much because I like chocolate. And he was like, and I was like, how many different Oreos are there? And he was like, there are a lot. You would be surprised.
Okay.
So we started watching a few of them, and I was like, man, this is like really funny. Like, I hate that I like this a little bit. So we like binge watched a bunch of those, and like then we would like Amazon Prime like the Oreos for the episodes that we were gonna watch. So like the crispy marshmallow crispy Oreos and like the golden birthday cake, which are my personal favorite.
Oh man,
you don't like them?
I like the golden like regular ones, but the birthday cake gets too much for me. It's like almost like too much sugar has been added.
Yeah, I totally see that, but I'm into that.
Okay.
So then I was like, oh, this is really awesome.
So where in the timeline is this? What year is this?
I have to like work backwards.
Because again, I'm not like a huge. I found Kind of Funny when they launched Kind of Funny, right?
So that was
2 years ago,
2015.
Yes. So
this is probably 2013, like the end of 2013, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds about. It was after they had started the Game Over Greggy show because I immediately jumped in and like binged like 10 episodes or whatever they had. So whatever that puts us at. And so then I jumped in, watched all of the podcast because he was like, oh, they have like a non-gaming podcast, you could probably like that. So I started watching that and then went back and watched like a conversation with Colin and Gregway and was like, I'm all in on this. And then I was like, I still have no idea what like half the stuff they talk about is because it's all like all the game stuff,
like deep inside baseball sort of shit.
Yeah. And like I was like, it's a bummer because I really like these guys, but the only other content I can consume from them is games related. I don't play games, but I don't know. Let's try it. So I started to listen to Beyond like super, super irregularly. Okay. Because I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I remember
weirdly listening to one random episode of Beyond and not like associating that like it was these personality dudes. It was like I think it was like probably a year before I discovered like actually like was like, oh, Greg Miller is the guy and he does Kind of Funny with these other guys, right? Yeah. Because I remember their segment of like I guarantee it, and I doubt it. Yeah, because I remember that segment. I was like, this is funny. Yeah. And then like I listened to that one episode and never listened to it again.
Yeah. No, I think it was, for me, it was like the super drunk, it's Kelly PSN outage.
Okay. I have yet to listen to that episode.
I've only, I think, listened to like that snapshot or like different bits and pieces of it. Okay. So then that was like, that was probably all this was happening like throughout 2014. Okay. And then Greg and Altano and a couple other people from IGN were doing a meetup for Comic-Con at Polite Provisions. And like at that time I was living in Orange County, so it's like an hour and a half to go to San Diego. Okay. So a bunch of us went down. We didn't have passes, and like I've still never been to Comic-Con, but we always would just go down. But you
went to like sort of hang out and just like,
because there's so many cool things. We went and saw Star Trek. I think it might have been Into Darkness. I don't know. Which one would have been out in
2014 would have been, I think that would have been Into Darkness. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, they were showing that on like this big screen, and they had a live orchestra playing all of the instrumentals, which was really cool. So they just have like cool stuff that you can do. Yeah. So we went down and did that, and that was like the first time I had ever met Greg or like any of the guys. And I remember being like so nervous of like, oh, like I'm like, this is weird. I don't get nervous about things. So why am I nervous about meeting this guy that has this really cute dog? Maybe that's why. So I met him and Altano and maybe Marty, maybe all that. I don't know. Some configuration of those guys.
I don't know. Marty's just hanging out. Yeah. Just being
he could have just been a guy
cute
at the bar,
sweater boy,
Oh yeah. All the Mardigans. Yep. So I did that, and then was around when they rebranded to Kind of Funny and started their Patreon. Right. And then wasn't connected. I mean, at that point, I don't think there was even really a community.
Yeah,
of people
I remember. God, I remember finding them. Like, I found them on the day that they launched. Because I remember I went on to like I was a casual IGN guy where I'd read some articles every once in a while, and like how I found them was like the first front page thing was like Greg Miller's last episode of Up at Noon. I was like, oh, that's a big guy, right? Like he's a big deal here. Like what's he gonna go do? And so I found Kind of Funny through there. And I think I maybe joined the Facebook group a couple months later. Yeah. And then I remember, I don't know if I met you for KFL 1, because this was at the point where I was a young boy.
Trying to think.
I was a young boy. I wasn't allowed to.
No, we did not. Okay. Because I didn't talk to anybody at Kind of Funny Live 1. Okay. I didn't know anyone.
I went to a meetup because I wasn't allowed to go to the event because I wasn't 21 yet.
That's right.
And so I went to the Wing Wings meetup where I met Sean Pitts and Alex O'Neill and all of them. And I think you and I met at PSX
PSX.
later that year.
That's
where we got ramen with
Secret
a bunch
ramen.
of people. Yeah. And I think it was like that last day of PSX where you and I like actually like hung out and talked, and where you guys were like, hey, since you're in the city for KFL2, like recommend us like restaurants for people to go to.
Yeah, restaurants that can fit like more than 4 people at a time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we definitely didn't meet at Kinda Funny Live 1 because Galen and I came up here for it, and like at that point I had really jumped into anything. Like I hadn't been in Twitch, I wasn't in the Facebook group, I wasn't. The forums hadn't even been announced yet.
So what had gotten you to start, like, because was the first thing really like doing like a lot of Twitch stuff for them? Was that?
So when I went to Kinda Funny Live 1, we ran into like 2 friends that I knew from college. So like the 4 of us just hung out, and like I think I like because I knew who Trevor was through like Twitter stuff.
Mr. Trevor Starkey.
Snarky
Starkey on Twitter.
on Twitter. And I had known who Sean was.
Yeah.
Because I think we had been like Facebook friends at that point.
Okay.
And like I guess that's not true. I had started to jump in because like I think I had talked to Andy at that point too.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really like jumped into anything. Like I was a total lurker at that point.
Yeah.
But after seeing people and meeting like a couple people like that there, I started to jump into more stuff, and I think that's when I joined the Facebook group, and I joined, I started to talk more in the Twitch chat and stuff like that. And Twitch is like really where I jumped into all of this.
Twitch is a great place to sort of like start talking to get to know all of those community members.
Yeah. And it's like crazy because it's so fast. Like when you jump in, it's like incredibly intimidating. But I remember jumping in and just like saying hi to people or inserting yourself into like conversations and stuff like that. And shout out to Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Gwen Stacy Lives _ maybe.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, she was like the first person that ever talked to me in Twitch chat, and like that kind of solidified it, and of like, oh, now I have like internet friends.
I think the first 2, I think it was you and Zyger who were the first 2 who were like, yo, what up, Anando Chong?
Yeah, because it's a fucking Friends reference.
Hell,
and I was like,
it is.
He's the homie.
You
he
get
gets
the
it.
Twitter handle. Sean gives me shit every week.
No, it is. Thank you.
Yeah. Fuck
it's a solid reference. But yeah, so it started doing that, then joined the Facebook group and the forums because the forums had just been announced.
Right.
And then through all of that, very shortly thereafter, got modded on the forums, got modded on the Facebook group, and then during Extra Life, I got modded on Twitch to help out with some stuff. And then, at that point too, Steimer had left her job at PlayStation, and was starting
to go.
She did Patreon for a little bit,
right?
But I had emailed her like shortly after Kinda Funny Live 1. I was like, "Hey, you're a community manager. I think this is something that I like maybe want to get into. Can I like pick your brain about stuff?" So we emailed back and forth a little bit. But when she left and started her own thing, she was like, "Hey, if you like want to try this out, let me know." So I started like modding for her on Twitch and stuff like that, and to try and like get a sense of like, is this something that I want to do? And it was. So I kind of like ran with those opportunities.
And what were you doing before this?
So I was working at a tiny university in Costa Mesa, California, the heart of Orange County, called Vanguard University, and I was working in their accounting office, doing accounting and like communication management for them.
So you had a little bit of experience, like you knew a little bit about what this might have been about in this industry.
Yeah, I just like very
vague.
Yeah.
So like, what did community management have to, or
communication management? It was just like managing all of like the student services that we had at the university, making sure that students were like aware of like what portions of it like applied to them and stuff like that. So like I knew that would be like pretty easily transferable to this industry.
To, like, get messaging out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It would just be like in a different format and obviously like different information and on different schedules and stuff. But yeah. And I also went to school for like cultural anthropology, so like a lot of my experience was like very out of the box.
I was originally studying to go into theater, and look at me now. So it's But
I feel like you get to use like a lot of those like skills of like improv and
I guess
performance on like a lower level.
Yeah, like quick on my feet of like adapting to situations and stuff. It definitely helps. Like, and that like reminds me of like you, like even though it was a different sort of industry, you were able to pick up things that were actually like useful in this industry.
Yeah,
though.
Exactly. So I figured like a lot of the experience I had would be like transferable. So then I was like, yeah, like this could be something that I'm into. And then like through modding over like a couple months, like through Extra Life was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Because that was like a small team of us that were like helping run and
that
all
was like a
stuff.
24 hours straight.
Yeah, 24 hours plus. We were at that point, the community was like a little bit had more of a foundation, so we
Right.
tried to
And there's
incorporate
all, like,
them
the-
more.
Yeah, there's like the
Streams
changing of
before.
streams and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
because were you with Sean at that point? Maybe not. You guys might not have been friends, but like I know that he was one of the streams that we hosted, and we like rotated out through and like made a whole weekend out of it at that point.
Pitts and I started to get to know each other in October a little bit.
Okay, so I might have
so like
missed you.
we were like sort of like knew each other, but
Yeah.
not like friend, like homies yet, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And then so this puts us into them already being kind of funny, all of this stuff. So this puts us at the beginning of 2016 now.
Right?
So then what happened in 2016?
So they had
that was, like, a
their
big deal?
year anniversary thing.
stream.
Yeah.
Then I guess the next big thing would have been Kinda Funny Live 2 of like
Right.
where we started to spearhead some of these like bigger community events.
And you started grabbing other people like me and some other like local people to like
you and
sort
Nikki
of-
were super great.
to like get more of a better idea of like where we can send big groups of people and all that
So we're
stuff.
not like overwhelming poor tiny like wings with like a million people. Oh wait, we
my-
did that this year too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it started to like make it a little bit more organized
Mm-hmm.
and get people connected that like were going to be coming by themselves or coming in like pairs and smaller groups to do like
Yeah. We're coming like a long way. And, all
yeah.
that good
And it
stuff.
was like the scale for Kinda Funny Live 2 was way bigger than Kinda Funny Live 1 because
Right.
the first one was like 300-ish
like in a
people.
bar like
I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, but like I remember watching the video and it looked like a sort of bar. It looks like a Slim's like place, but
Exactly.
not Slim's. Yeah,
So yeah, that was like 300, and then Kinda Funny Live 2 jumped to like 1,000 people. So
Yes.
that we just had to take like a totally different approach, like on how we were gonna do things. So that was like the first big thing that like I kind of tried to rally people for. And that at that point, once we got through all of Kinda Funny Live 3, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm into this. Like I want to do this. And so
Yeah.
like the goal was always like, okay, well, Kinda Funny is still like very startup-y in its early stages. By the time I get a chance to work somewhere else and get some like community management experience, maybe by that time they'll be able to hire someone, and I'd like to put my hat in the ring for that. And then very
so
shortly,
this is after Kind of Funny
Funny
Live
Life
2.
2, yeah. So then,
So were you looking at other places to try to jump into the industry?
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's like very basic. I had an interview with like IndieCade that didn't end up working out, and was trying out like a couple of things.
And you had met like other people in the industry as well.
Yeah.
Like I know like you and Kirsten Slater are good homies and all that.
She's the homie.
She is the homie.
Yeah,
Shout
and-
out to Kirsten Slater, who is bending over backwards to make everything at Comic-Con work right now. So shout out to you.
And like she's been like a huge help too, because she and I had met through Kinda Funny Live 2 stuff, like
Okay.
with that all of the
Like setting
tour
up
and
like
stuff.
fans and like at IGN.
Yeah, and so
tours and stuff.
she was really great, and she had invited me to both the E3 and the Comic-Con parties that for 2016.
Okay.
And like that's where like I did a lot of networking, and like I got to meet a lot of people that have been really great and like supportive and through this process and stuff like that. So she gets a giant shout out. But yeah, I went to E3 after that and kind of just got a taste of what another side of the industry was, because that was something that I'd never done. And like only going to like Kinda Funny Lives and PSXs at that point was totally
So
totally
it was
different.
like interesting to see like what it is outside of them.
Exactly. Yeah. From more of like the gaming side instead of just media.
Yeah.
And so did that. Then RTX has like played a really weird point in like all of this whole thing, because in 2015, like that was when I like kind of decided, oh, I think I want to do this community management wise. And at their panel in 2015, Tim had asked us like, oh, what's the next thing that we should hire for? And he was like, background people. You need people to take stuff off your plate so you can do more of the creative and stuff. And I wrote them an email that day of like, hey, these are all of the like qualifications I have. I would love to help you guys out when you get to that point. And then 2016 at RTX, right before that, I had gotten an email from Greg, and he had emailed like a few people and was like, hey, we want to like make more of like an official community role. If you're interested, here are some questions. Get back to me. So like all during RTX, I was like watching the streams and like writing up with this. And then right after, I got like a email that was like, hey, we want to talk to you more about this. So we talked a little bit about it, and like at that point a lot of things had changed of like now they were getting the studio and stuff, so a lot of what they had envisioned for it was a little bit different. So then we didn't end up touching base about anything until like
So their like sort of look at getting someone else in had slowed down because they were focusing on
and it
doing-
was like it was a different role than like what I ended up doing of like it's like a community liaison, and it's like still very part-time, not an official community manager, just stuff like that. Okay.
So like, what were they originally like? They were asking for like sort of like one communal sort of person.
Yeah,
to, like,
one person
oversee?
they attribute it to like the Jedi Council of like we communicate with you and you distribute. But then a lot of things changed with like getting the studio and all of that stuff. So by the time we like touched base again at the end of the year, they're like, okay, we want to make this into like a full community manager role on like a part-time basis. And I was like, this is crazy that I thought I was going to have to like work other places before this. And now I'm here and this is, I don't know how to process this. So it was fun. I found out right before PSX, which was both awesome and terrible because I couldn't tell anybody. I think like you guys, I've told like shortly before.
I think by the time, because we stayed with you for 2016 PSX, and I think by the time we had gotten there, you might have told us that week. I think so. And then and that was shortly after I had gotten hired at IGN. I know what that feeling is, where it's like we had a whole big group thread and stuff, and I was texting you guys of like, hey, I have an important interview. How does this look? And you guys were like, oh, like maybe like unbutton the collar or do this or do that. And then like eventually someone was like, what's this
are you interviewing for?
And I was like, my mom's hotel company.
I know, and we're all like, okay. Like we had no reason to not believe you at that time.
I had a pretty good alibi for that.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to say anything and get anybody excited, because you see a lot of people who are like, I'm applying for this, and we'll see how it goes, and it's like most of the time it doesn't go anywhere, but like,
and then it's like awkward. You have to tell all those people.
Yeah, it's like oh, it didn't go anywhere. It's like. It's sort of like telling just your parents, and then like they ask you like a week later, like, "Oh, how'd it go?" But like on a more public scale. And
Exactly.
It's like, oh, I don't want to deal with that.
No, and it's like, I totally understand that. It's like
so
it's rough.
So when did they come to you and like, hey, we want you?
I want to say that was like
late November.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was before that because I stopped by the office.
Okay.
When I was home for Thanksgiving. Okay. I mean, it kind of hashed it out, so it was probably November.
Okay.
But that was like a really rough period just because it's like I'm not fully empowered to do anything, but I still feel like responsibility that I should be doing things. Yeah. And it's like, so that kind of was like a little bit rough, but and then I was trying to figure stuff out.
Because you didn't want to make like important decisions for the company when you're just a part-time position? Or
well, and it wasn't even public knowledge yet. So I didn't have any like backing other than like, I strongly recommend this, but they're like,
why?
Yeah. We're not going to take your word as like with any more weight than anybody else's.
Yeah.
So then it was just like, then it was the announcement stream.
Right.
And then they like flew me up and put me up in like an Airbnb, and I remember like getting ready that morning, and like this has never happened to me before, but I like legitimately threw up because I was so nervous.
Oh wow.
And I've never like in all like the crazy stuff that I've done, that's never happened. And I was like,
I don't think that's never happened to me, of like throwing up because of being so nervous. Threw up because I ate too many Doritos once. not because I was nervous.
Not because of nerves.
And that's the cool thing, because like our community is so much like we like to rise others up, right?
Yeah.
So it was like you might have been nervous, but like all of us were so fucking like Alyssa was #1 fucking fan of like, yes, I'm so excited that Joey gets to like be a part of this.
Yeah.
So how did that stream go?
It was really cool. I was like, because there were so many things that like I tried to like slyly like make references at just because I think it would be fun to like look back at it, of like I posted a picture of like me at the airport, and like everyone was like, oh my gosh, your bag's so cute, and I was like, you don't even know what I'm flying up for. You just wait. And like I went to the holiday dinner in December, and I flew up, and it was like super secretive, and like
you're the one who were taking the pictures.
I was taking the pictures. And but like in the back, everyone just assumed that I was Nick's wife because she's like never in anything. So it was funny. But it's just like all these fun little like Easter egg things of like, you guys didn't know, but it was me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got to the stream, and that morning I had posted a GIF from Finding Nemo of like, today's the day.
Yeah.
And everyone, no one like really knew. I think everyone was just assuming that like, oh, she's really excited about the Kinda Funny like day announcements. Because that totally would have been like a me thing to post too. And so I got there. The guys were really great. We like kind of went over like what the run of show would be, and then I was just like in the background like watching everything happen.
Yeah.
And it was just like super crazy. And like I went back, and I looked at like what chat, and like chat like exploded when they announced, because I was like, those are my people of like, I started on Twitch. Yeah. The homies. And then it was like super crazy. Like that whole day was really awesome to just like be in the office, and like they were like, oh, we can hand over all the giveaway stuff to Joey so we can be on the stream. And it's like, this is the stuff that I want to help you guys with.
Yeah.
And that was like the first taste of like, oh, I should probably be in the office.
Yeah. So that was January 5th. Now we're in July. And so what was the journey like from being part-time and the sort of like some of the struggles you might have had of being part-time, being down in LA, and that transition from that to full-time?
Yeah, it was crazy. Managing someone that's a remote person, I think is a lot harder than like any of us expected.
Yeah.
Because it still requires like a lot of communication, which is something that like Kinda Funny's always struggled with. And that like I was supposed to come in and like help with. And it's like, oh, I want to help you with this, but I still need to know all this stuff. And like I had come up to the office like over the course of the last like 7 months, probably like 7 or 8 times.
You're
it was like
staying with us.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to Barrett and Alyssa for always housing me when I'm up here.
Yeah. 'Cause, again, you're the homie. You're our people. So like, and we're like, I don't want to say number one fan because it's probably your family and other.
They still think
friends.
all this is real weird.
But we're like also like we're just we're really supportive of you because it's fucking awesome that you're here and making moves and all that good stuff. So anytime that you're like, hey, can I possibly stay with you guys? We're like, fuck yeah.
I know. You're like, do you just want to move in? Like you could just live with us. I'm like, okay, we'll work on that. But yeah, so it was hard because working 10 hours a week for Kinda Funny is like less than I'd ever worked for them, and now it was like in an unofficial capacity.
Right.
So that was like kind of hard, but I was trying to make sure that I was setting like reasonable expectations of like what's doable in 10 hours a week.
Right.
Which is like something.
So how
that
would
I
you spread
struggled
it
with.
out? Would you do like 2 hours Monday through Friday? Or like
it's so weird because like community and social is like so not on like a rigid schedule.
Right.
So it was like whenever I was just like kind of always on call and always keeping an eye on things.
Right.
So I don't even know. I don't even have like a good accurate amount of like what.
And you're
how
doing
many
this
hours
while
I have a full-time
still
job
at the college, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like luckily my job was like pretty chill. Of like I had Twitch up every day and stuff like that. I wasn't like watching it. I just had it in the background and like had
Just in
chat up
case
still.
something went on fire.
Yeah.
You know, like take it out.
Totally. And then like a lot of like my nights and stuff, but that's like not necessarily ideal either.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of rough, and then it's like, oh, we want you in on our meetings, but those are in the middle of the day, and it's like, okay, well now I have to rearrange my like. When am I going to take lunch? Yeah. So like I can only do so much stuff at work. Yeah. So it's like rearranging my lunch to like be able to do these and all that kind of stuff. So it got a little bit complicated. But the more that I did it, the more that I loved it. And I was like, man, I want to do this.
And it's like, it's like that little tease of like, oh, I'm so close to like getting. Like,
there. Exactly. And that made being at my job really hard of like, I do not care about this at all like anymore. Which like probably wasn't really fair to them, but
yeah. I mean, it's only like it naturally happens where you lose passions and stuff, where you go into something, you're like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do and help people out in this field, and then you slowly realize like, oh, didn't really give a shit about this.
Yeah, totally.
I get that.
So yeah, then we started to have the conversation about bringing me on full time like pretty early on. Like I think the first time we talked about it was like in February.
Okay.
But at that point, I was like, I don't think I can do this quite yet.
Because especially not only because of just the part-time and how little you're able to do while being only allowed to do 10 hours and also only having a full-time job, but you're also all the way down to LA.
Yeah. Southern California makes it really hard.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is a lot of logistics to figure out. So like at that point, it's like, okay, we kind of both know where we both are at on this conversation. Like maybe let's table this and revisit it during summer.
Okay.
Or fall. And then obviously like all the call-in stuff happened.
Yes.
And like that was like, it's one of those things where I look back, which is weird because it's not even that much perspective, but I got let go from my job that Friday of the week that all the call-in stuff had happened.
Right.
So it was like a crazy, like on a personal level, like that was super shitty because it was like everything on like multiple levels of my life is exploding. I'm like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like looking back, it's like I wouldn't have been around to like, and I don't even feel like I helped in like the right way or like as much as I should have or whatever, but I had to take some personal time to like deal with stuff.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't have been able to be around to help with that stuff if I had my full-time job moving forward from there.
And yeah, like for you personally, and I think for Kinda Funny as a whole, it was like a lot of shedding and like a lot of like bad shedding, but like for the long run, I think it was really good for you guys.
And like both parties seem to be very happy doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
And
But it's cool to see like that happen. Like it sucks that it like shitty things happen to you personally, like around that same time. But it also seems like because you had to go through the fucking dirt and mud to get here, where life is really cool and you're in San Francisco.
Yeah, totally worth it. And I think even because I think that night I talked to like Alyssa and I talked to Allie and I talked to Shauna and like had talked to like a few people. The Marg bitches.
Yeah.
But so many, and I think even Gia called me that night too and was like, this will be a blessing in disguise once you get like away from it. And
she
1,000% has been, because that so I moved back up here because of that, because it's like I'm not gonna say I don't really have a reason to be down there anymore. And so that like gave me more freedom to be in the office more, where it's like, okay, like now we know what it's like to have Joey in the office and the
what
conversation,
you can do in sort of
what other things I can take
capacity.
on. So that started kind of re-upping the conversation, and like we didn't start having the full-time conversation until like 2 weeks before RTX.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it was like a very like quick turnaround of like, hey, we want this, we would like you to start July 1st. We understand that that's like a week from now. But I was like, I think I can make it work, because like I am very lucky that I have like good friends like you guys, and I have family in the city that I can like stay with while I kind of figure out like housing and stuff like that. So that made it a lot easier to happen. But yeah, it was like a weird first week too, even of starting, because my first full-time week was the week that like Greg was on vacation,
right,
and Tim and Nick were like doing a lot of stuff working remotely from home,
right.
So then it was like the new class taking over. I'm like, is this what normal work weeks are like?
No.
No, not really. And even last week, like I was in Austin on Monday, and then I had plans from before of like I was gonna not be in the office on Wednesday.
Right.
So like I haven't even had my first full week in the office, but it's this last week has been really nice of like, oh, this is what it feels like, and this is like the cadence of people
schedule sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's like so crazy, because like I know that like on the show we talk about like what are we gonna eat for lunch for like 2 hours. It's like, but it's so crazy to be in the office and see.
What are you gonna eat for lunch?
99% of the time it is Chipotle, which I gave him so much shit for, but I totally understand.
We gotta talk about Chipotle.
Okay.
You gotta get the guys off Chipotle.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Trash food for
it's
trash
not,
people.
It's not, I mean, I don't think it's trash. I like Chipotle, but I understand. Give Alex
O'Neill a lot of shit
I know.
For liking Chipotle.
Well, yeah, that's okay. Chipotle is just like the easy thing of like everybody likes it, everybody knows what they get there, and like it's close and it's like relatively cheap.
You got like the rest of the food court inside the mall right there, because I know you guys are going to the
food court in Stonestown.
The Stonestown Chipotle.
Yeah,
so.
Occasionally we change it up when we go to Built Burger. We went to Built Burger.
Built Burger's all right. The pizza Blaze.
Yeah,
Blaze is all
fine.
right.
But we also have a freezer full of pizzas from various companies.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So we usually steer away from
Blaze pizza workers scare me. At least they did the
I've
week
never
that
been to that one.
So when they opened, I was still working at the Stonestown Vans location, and we went the week they opened, and it was like, you know how like enthusiastic all the Disney workers are at Disneyland? Yeah. It was like that, but for pizza. It was really weird. Every step, they're like, yo, like we're going to put some toppings on our pizza. What do you want, man? I was like, dude, stop talking to me. No.
I just want my pizza. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Yeah.
There were like 7 hype men in a row for pizza, and I was like, this is a little
pizza's
too much.
great.
Yeah, but like I don't, and I love pizza. It's the best food category on the food charts, but like.
I don't know if I'd say that.
Come on.
I really like burritos.
I'm not a huge fan of Mexican food. I realized last year. I don't know why. I
find that personally offensive. But yeah, so great. Yeah. We talk about lunch all the time, but like 99% of the time, it's like everyone's eating lunch at their desks while we're working on stuff and returning emails in the 30 minutes we have before we have to start recording a Let's Play or before like Skype calls start. Or it's just like crazy to see like there is so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes that allows for all of the on-screen stuff to actually happen.
Exactly.
Of like so many phone calls and trying to figure out deals and all this cool stuff.
And getting the sort of cool like Blue Apron ad reads and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So I'm trying to do what I can to like take stuff off of their plates, and I think that'll be like a gradual thing of like community, and now I'm running social, and Andy, I get Andy's help with that too, which makes it really fun. Because he posts some of the craziest stuff. I'm like, you're so good at
silly
this.
Boy, you know. He knows how to make the people
he's
chuckle
the greatest.
And chortle.
No,
you know?
He's legitimately the greatest. And then like I think I'm gonna start working on some merch stuff and kind of taking that on. So yeah, it's been fun to be like, what I like working at a small company is like you have the freedom and flexibility of like, hey, I want to do this thing, and it takes some time off, some stuff off of other people's plates. And they're like, yeah, sure. Like we can see what this looks like and kind of change stuff up. So it's been really fun. I have like a lot of stuff that like I want to do that like we're trying to like build up to and get stuff in place for. But
so you're making moves, making plans.
Yeah.
And you're there. You started this journey where like, it's like this little sort of startup games guys, and I want to help build them up. And now you're there, and now you're doing that.
It's super crazy. Awesome. It's just And then I like meet with my family, and like we go out to dinner, and they're like, "So what do you do now?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't even know how to explain this to you." I'm like, you just start them on the journey that Galen, right? Yeah,
Galen started you on.
So let me show you this Oreo video. No, I just pretty much tell people, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do social media," because trying to explain community management to somebody that doesn't understand like the online gaming industry.
Yeah, it's like almost like a college course class. Like, sort of like, hey, I do this.
I know.
This, and this.
I was trying to explain Patreon to my mom the other day.
So was I, because she didn't know what Patreon was, and I was like, it's like a subscription-based version of Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, I get that.
I know, but then I was trying to explain to my mom. She's like, but wait, all of it goes up for free, so why do people pay for it? I'm like, because they want it early. She's like, but it goes up the next week. I was like, yeah. I was like, but you want to also support the people, and you like the content. And she was like, okay. Yeah. My parents are like pretty with it.
Funding, it's pretty dope.
It's awesome.
Except for video games sometimes, like ukulele. Makes me really sad.
Oh, I know. Ukulele.
People don't like that game, and I've yet to play it. Because
I know, I have it. I've offered to let you borrow it.
Oh, I want it on the fucking Switch.
I know.
I refuse to play it until I get to play it on the Switch.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
People aren't like it didn't make huge waves, right?
It's mostly because I'm just an extremely nostalgic person.
Yeah.
So it plays on like the right pieces.
Yeah.
Do I still just really want to play Banjo-Kazooie? Pretty much.
Or do you want to play the better game, Donkey Kong 64? No. Anyway, Joey, my next question was going to be, what was your journey? But we already sort of talked about that.
We kind of went through that.
So we have a question from a good friend of ours, Becky. Becky Mahano, who wants to know a little bit about your experience of being a woman in this industry, since you're getting right into this industry, and this industry is like how we talked about, like the nerds in this industry like to put women in a box and all this stuff. What has your experience been so far from that perspective?
It's been really great. I'll start with that overarching umbrella. The women that are in this industry already are incredible at wanting to empower women that want to get into this industry.
Right.
So like Christine Steimer, Brittany Brombacher, Alexa Ray Correa, Andrea Renee, Kirsten Slater have all been like incredibly encouraging and instrumental in getting me in here. Everyone has been like super open to like, hey, do you have questions? Hey, how can we help you? Like, do you need to vent? Do you need like just advice on like how to manage all of this stuff? Like, let me know and stuff like that. They've been really great of like, hey, we like working in this industry and we realize that we need more women in here, and let's try and help the ones that want to do this. So like those 5 women have been like incredible. So I'm trying as much as I can to do that for other women that want to get into the industry.
Naturally.
I feel like I'm very lucky, and like I haven't really had to deal with any of like the shitty stuff that comes from it. Like a couple comments here and there, but like I've been on the internet.
Everybody gets comments.
It's
and
like
shit, and it's just a bunch of dumb people on the internet being dumb.
And I think, I don't know. Yeah, I don't feel like I have like a ton of hate. Like I'm sure I know there are people that don't like me, and that's fine. Yeah, that's always gonna happen.
Let the haters hate. They hate us.
Yeah, because they ain't us. Yeah. But like, and I'm a firm believer of like, you don't have to like everyone. Like there's people that you vibe with and you don't vibe with, and I'm totally fine with like, I don't expect to vibe with everyone.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a slow burn of like the longer that I'm in the industry, I probably will like see things that like I'm not.
And I think it's cool because like you get to work for people who don't seem to give women bullshit a lot of the time. So.
Or if they do, it's like a general, we're giving everyone shit.
Yeah, exactly. Because so like you guys are. The company's so young, and you work with generally like fucking awesome people. Yeah. So it's like they're not giving you shit because you're a woman or anything.
I feel like they're on better behavior since I've been in the office. Except for Kevin. Kevin's like, no, that's sexist. I have to treat you just like everyone else. I mean, I'm like, you're not even wrong. I can't argue that.
So how's it been working for you're the only woman in
Yeah.
Kinda Funny so far. So
far.
how's that been?
It's been it's been great. Like I have no complaints at all. Like
Andy's not being a piece of shit.
No, Andy's not a piece of shit. I love Andy. Andy was like one of the first people like that I met through the community.
Nice.
So it's been like cool that like we
You
get
guys
to
have
like do
this
this
journey
together.
Yeah, that's fucking rad.
Yeah. I get to like try and get his attention under his monitors every day and stuff like that. He teaches me about twang. That like weird salt stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. I don't like the pickle flavor. It's weird.
Pickle flavor. What
yeah,
the fuck?
I know. Not into it. He teaches us about Big
do you
Red.
like pickles on burgers?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I don't like pickles on burgers or on anything. I like pickles by themselves though.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
I like pickles. I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A pickles on those chicken sandwiches, really good. Do you not like Chick-fil-A?
I had it once and it was fine. Chick-fil-A is fine, guys.
Chick-fil-A is good. Chick-fil-A is better because of their sauces.
Yeah, the sauce was like I forget what sauce I got, but I remember enjoying it.
Yeah.
We went to Chick-fil-A last Thanksgiving when we were down in LA for Disneyland, and Sean and I went to Chick-fil-A. It was my first time. It was like it's all right.
Yeah.
I don't see what the
It's not worth
rate
the
is
drive
about.
to San Jose to go get Chick-fil-A, but if it's around,
God,
then, yeah.
no. So
But yeah, they're super great. Like I don't feel like I'm treated like any differently
that's
because
awesome.
I'm a
It's good
woman.
to hear.
And I think also like from like viewership wise, like I think people are smart enough to know that like if they give me shit, like the guys aren't going to stand for it and aren't going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
So
you have to imagine some of the audience is like glad that they finally have like
yeah,
like,
I've gotten
a
so
woman.
for every like one shitty comment I get like 50 like, oh my gosh, we're so glad to see like other girls and women and
Yeah.
like just diversity in that because the minorities are taking over. Kind of funny. But we're like I've been lucky, very lucky. I feel like in multiple ways of coming in and having this be my first community that I've ever done community
like
management
generally
for.
the Kinda Funny community is
Is
pretty fucking
awesome.
cool and doesn't deal with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I feel like the more that I have like exposure to different parts of the industry, I feel like
Maybe
I'll
you'll
have
see it a little bit.
Yeah, more touchstones and like hearing stories about like stuff at E3 and stuff. It's like, oh man, that's shitty. But
yeah,
it's like, okay, what can I do to like get more women in here so that it's less of an
like
issue? Or yeah,
it's cool. Well, that was all like the sort of the last sort of serious question before we get into some fun questions to wrap up the show is do you have any advice, since you're more of the sort of back end helping people with like community, do you have any advice for anybody who might want to get in this industry who like jobs like yours of like community management and all that stuff? Do you have any advice for people out there?
I would highly recommend jumping in and doing as much of this on like a volunteer basis to figure out if you want to do this, because that's what I did of like, I don't know, like this does sound interesting, but I don't know. It's like, okay, well, let me put in some work and see if this is something that like I would be willing to do.
Yeah, it was like
I want to do.
It was like very non-committal, so you didn't have to like dedicate so much time to even figure out if you liked it or not.
Yeah, but I think this is like community management is something that you like really have to love in order to do, and I think that that's hard to just jump into like straight out of the gate into a job. You would have like it's something that you need to get in the dirt in a little bit to figure out if you like this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a very like you either love it or you don't. Yeah.
Okay.
So I want like if you think you want to do this, I would recommend getting some moderating, some sort of experience to see if you actually like it.
Okay.
On like with like a little bit more responsibility. And then networking is like huge. I feel like 50%.
Networking is half the battle.
50% of it is like knowing that you like what you do and being good at it, or like working on being good at it, and the other half is like the people that you know.
Yep.
So networking of like, if you want to do this, trying going to events and seeing who you meet and not being afraid to like hit people up on Twitter. Because I think a lot of the networking I did was online.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like I had already kind of like established relationships with people that I met them in person at different things. So take advantage of the tools that you have for you to get in touch with like the people that you think could give you some advice or like are doing the things that you want to do.
Cool. Well, now we're going to get into some fun questions here.
Oh, no. I heard a few of these on the car ride over.
Today is, so we're going to have our own segment of Would You Rather, but now before we get into that, I do have some general questions, and I think we'll get into some fan questions before we, viewer questions before we get into the Would You Rathers. But today is National Ice Cream Day.
Oh,
so I got to ask you, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Okay, so this is hard because for so long it was cookie dough.
Okay.
So
yeah,
long it was cookie
dough's
dough.
lit.
I love it. But whenever I like go to order ice cream, I always order butter pecan, which I feel like is a very
Interesting.
underrated ice cream.
Okay.
I don't like chocolate, so I feel like my ice cream options are a little bit limited.
Okay.
And it's one of the few that's like zero chocolate.
So what I'm really asking here is we're gonna get lunch after this. Do we want to go to Pollyanne's?
Yes,
after
we do.
after we go?
1,000%.
Hell yes. Pollyanne's trip after the show.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other fun questions before we get in? Okay. You and I connect a lot when it comes to music, right? Like
Yes.
We love Brand New. We love all the mid 2000 emo bands, right? So another fun question I have for you is, what would be your ideal lineup for a concert?
Oh man. Oh. Okay. This is how many options do I
So
have?
I think for a regular show,
3.
I would say 4.
Four,
Because
okay.
you get like your sort of very small band, you're like 2 like mid-tier to a little more popular bands, and then you get like your sort of
Your headliner?
Yeah, your headliner.
Do they all have to be in the same genre?
Not at the
Dead
same.
or
You're
Alive?
totally
Okay.
free range here.
This is hard because I don't feel like they're necessarily going to fit into those categories, but
Yeah.
my headliner forever and always will be Brand New
Hell yes.
because it's my all-time
I've
favorite.
Yet to see them. No, I have seen them live.
They're
Front
so
bottoms
good.
that I haven't seen live.
Oh, yeah.
And front bottoms were
With
touring
modern baseball too, and I'm so mad I didn't go to that show.
That was the perfect lineup for me.
Oh, so sad. So they will forever and always be my headliner.
Okay.
I've had a lot of Brand New talk because emo night's coming up, which I'm very
Oh
excited about.
yeah.
So headliner, and then if I'm going, I have like a very wide variety of like musical tastes
Mix
that
it
I
up,
like.
man. Get weird with it.
I know. I think I'm going to. I feel like I don't know that I could like categorize them like who's gonna be the first opener. I'm not gonna do that. Hall and Oates,
Hall and Oates, okay.
which is I know if we're talking realistically, of course Hall and Oates is gonna be a headliner, over
but
Brand New. But in the Joey Noelle musical universe,
they're one of the openers.
they're one of
right?
the openers.
Okay.
Who else do I really love that I listen to constantly without? Oh, this is so hard. Okay. One Republic,
Okay.
which is a weird
I
pick.
haven't heard that name in a while.
So they have their one album. I don't even know what it's called because I don't pay attention to names of anything, but it's like a giant cloud, colorful album cover.
Right.
And it's like one of the few albums that I can listen to start to end without skipping songs. And I feel like that's a huge tell for me of like if I really like a band.
Oh yeah.
And they're like just pretty like casual, like they're easy.
Okay.
Then I feel like I need to put in a country band, so I'm going to put in Lady Antebellum because I
Okay.
also really love country
I'm
music.
not huge in the country, but Lady Antebellum I can get down with.
They're like not super like honky tonky
Yeah,
country. They're like pretty poppy country.
Okay.
And then my last one, I feel like I listen so I listen to a lot of music that's not current. I feel like the majority of my music is like
that's fine.
1980s to like the 1950s.
You heard on the way here. I was listening to a bunch of 60s
yeah.
music. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a really good record store across the street from Wing Wings that specializes in like 60s R&B that we went to. It's awesome. So I need to go back there.
Okay.
I feel like I want to do someone like Smokey Robinson
Okay.
or like Marvin Gaye
Oh, all right.
or Frankie Valli.
Okay.
Maybe if I'm picking all-time favorites, it's going to be Frankie Valli.
Okay.
So Frankie Valli, One Republic, Hall & Oates, and Brand New.
I like that lineup. It's good.
I feel like I have to touch on like all the different loves of my life, and I feel like that encompasses it pretty well.
Okay. And the last question, most anticipated game right now?
Most anticipated game right now. I feel like Stardew Valley on Switch is...
That's an acceptable answer.
Is that an acceptable answer? Mario Odyssey.
Hell yeah, boy.
Super excited for that.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And really excited for God of War 3. Never played a God of War game.
Just God of War. God of War 3 came out.
Yeah, the
That
new,
got
whatever the
remastered.
new thing is.
Yeah. That looks really cool.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, because I
Actually,
was never in the original, into the original.
no,
as well.
but I like this like new like Nordic whatever setting they're doing.
Yeah.
Also, Detroit Become Human.
Okay, yeah.
That
I'm
one looks
interested to see more
really
gameplay
good.
From that
I
one.
know.
We'll see.
Days Gone also looks really good.
I'm sort of over the zombies. I'm done with zombies.
I don't know. I don't really, because I don't watch The Walking Dead or anything anymore,
Yeah,
but there's something about it that like I'm super into. But I guess out of all of those, Stardew Valley on Switch.
Okay.
If we're talking new games, then I think it's Detroit.
So we got some viewer questions
Okay.
here for you. Ben Bellevue, asks, and shout out to you at Mr_BentoBox. How much did your life improve when you met Ben?
Can I give a negative answer?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
Negative 12.5%. Ben is the bane of my existence because he's like way too quick for his good. Of like that whole stupid thing when everyone thought I killed Portillo.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "How can we trust you with a restaurant?
How can we trust you with a if we can't trust you with a dog that's named after a restaurant? How can we trust you with a restaurant named after
an animal?" That's what it is. I hate you, Ben. You're the worst.
Ben's the best. I'm on your side, Ben, when it comes to pineapple on pizza. It's totally acceptable.
That's the other reason that Ben is.
And he says, no, but
enemy.
seriously, how is joining KF been, and what's something unexpected that's come from it? So we sort of talked about how KF has been, but what is something unexpected that has come from being part of the group now?
I feel like it's hard to say because it's only been like 3 days that I've been in the office with everyone.
Right.
But something unexpected. Wasn't expect. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I haven't been expecting. As much that Nick is Nick on camera, he's equally Nick off camera.
Yeah.
Which I always like wonder. I'm like, oh, like how much does he dial it up?
Yeah.
No, that's just Nick all the time, all the time, which is endlessly entertaining. And like I don't really get offended by things.
Oh yeah.
At all.
So he's just amusing all the time.
Yeah. So he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you don't have to be sorry. Like most of the time I'm not listening. Like half the stuff you say and the half that I am listening to, I'm laughing, but I feel like I shouldn't be laughing at. No, they've all been really great. And it really is like a family of like everyone like keeps their eye out for each other. And like getting to know like all of the kind of honeys has been really cool too. Cause like Gia and Paula and Jen are great. And I've gotten to know the elusive Danielle over the last little bit. Cause she was in Austin with us. And it's been really cool to like have this like built-in like work support system of like I had that at my last job because I was really close with a lot of people there and I didn't know that I would ever really find that again. But it's been really great to get to know them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Logan Wilkinson at Lefty Loggy says, how is moving to SF been? And he also asks, he wants you to give a 1-sentence pitch on why you love Fast and the Furious so much. So first, how has moving to SF been?
It's been good. Yeah. I'm still like in the process of moving because I haven't like nailed down exactly. I'm pretty sure I have after this weekend, but I have to like have some conversations.
Yeah. San Francisco's fucking complicated when it comes to moving here. Don't move
complicated.
Here. It's awful.
But also, if you're cool, move here because I would like more friends, so I just don't play Stardew Valley. Yeah. But it's been really great. Once again, very lucky to have like you and Alyssa and family here, so I can like I have the freedom to be able to like kind of have flexibility and see where I want to live versus like having to lock down someplace with that like immediately just because I need something.
Yep.
So that's been fun. It's been fun to like rediscover it because like I was born in the city,
right? And
all of my family, like really except for my parents, are in the Bay Area. So it's been fun to like rediscover it, especially now that I can drink and I can go to like the bars and the fun places.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, moving here in like 8th grade going into high school it wasn't really fun for me, but now that like I can go to like Jackalope and you know,
Soda Popinski's, it was really fun.
Oh yeah,
I want to play Dr. Mario there next time we go.
Oh, I didn't know that they had Dr. Mario.
Oh, they
do
have Dr. Mario.
Oh, right. I remember that. I thought you were talking about the ice cream bar that you guys went to.
Oh no.
And then the Abbey, which we'll be moving towards. That's in Richmond. It's a nice.
That's
little,
not the
like,
gin
Irish
bar,
pub.
is it?
No, I don't think so.
I think that's Whitechapel, another churchy thing.
Okay. So what's your 1-sentence pitch on why you love Fast and the Furious so much?
1 sentence?
Yeah, you get 1 sentence.
I am not a concise person. I feel like the cheat answer is it's about family.
Okay.
But I'm going to have a really rambly sentence of I love that it's so ridiculous and it knows that it's ridiculous and it embraces its ridiculousness. And it's just a fun popcorn series.
Okay.
Like it doesn't take itself too seriously, which I appreciate.
Okay.
Because it's out of control. There's no way that you can take yourself seriously when you're flying cars between buildings.
No, not really.
Have you still never seen?
I've still never seen any of them.
Well, you're in luck because I own all of them.
God. Oh,
I don't own the cool wheel like collector's edition.
Okay.
But
yeah, I imagine you're going to be over a lot making Alyssa watch that. So I'll probably just in association be watching those a while at some point.
Well, and spoilers, I don't know. Andy will also be living with you, and he's also a big proponent of the Fast and Furious franchise now because we forced him to watch it before we saw the most recent one.
Oh,
awesome.
Man. Clint Gilmore at Clint_G asks, what Switch games are you guys looking forward to besides Mario Odyssey? You talked about Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
He He also asked if you're team cake or team pie.
I also really do want ukulele because I haven't finished it.
Yes.
I pretty much just want everything on Switch.
Yes.
I think.
Thank you.
Cake or pie? I think like if I had two in front of me, I would pick cake. But shout out to banana cream pie because that's what I pick for my birthday every year.
Okay. Then he also wants your thoughts on the movie of the year, Baby Driver.
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm so irritated because in the flux of all this moving, all of my friends at home were like, "Oh no, like I don't have time to go see it right now." And then I came to San Francisco, and everyone else had already seen it.
Yeah. I'm down to see it again.
Okay.
So if you need a buddy to go see it, and Alyssa hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
So,
we're gonna make this happen.
Hell yeah, because I love that movie so much. We had a entire episode where I ranted about how much I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm down to
Maybe
see it
next
again.
weekend.
Yeah,
Well, you're not even here.
No, I won't be.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll make time.
Because that and The Big Sick are the two that are on my radar, and I'm gonna go see The Big Sick tonight.
Okay. And then now I have a little fun segment that'll wrap up the show.
I love
Would
fun
you
segments.
rather?
Oh.
So
Would you
I-
rathers?
So
Okay.
I had people send me would you rathers, and guys, you got to get better at the would you rather game. It was sort of weird, a lot of poop ones, a lot of sex ones. I was like, all right, no, this is not acceptable. So I made some pretty good would you rathers with the help of Alyssa and Becky. Shout out to both of them. So the first one is would you rather say everything on your mind or never speak again?
Never speak again.
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts that should never see the light of day.
Would you rather have hiccups or feel like you're going to sneeze but can't sneeze for the rest of your life?
For the rest of my life?
Yeah.
So on one drive when I was driving from Southern California up here, I had the hiccups for like 4 hours.
Man, that's so scary because while you're driving and stuff,
Yeah,
like you're
it was
jolting.
awful. So I feel like I have to go with the sneeze one
Yeah.
because that was like, that was miserable.
Because at one point it's like the sneeze thing feels just like an itch at
Yeah.
one point, and I feel like you can just sort of ignore the itch at one point.
Yeah, I don't know how you would sleep if you had hiccups though, like how that would work.
Huh.
And I feel like it would be easier to fall asleep if you felt like you had to sneeze.
Yeah, I see. I get that reasoning. Would you rather only be able to listen to Nickelback for the rest of your life, or read the iTunes terms and conditions, which is 56 pages every single day?
Oh, can I just cut my ears off and not read the terms of service? I feel like I would have to listen to Nickelback.
Oh man, wow.
Like there's not like those terms. Like, have you seen? There's a Netflix documentary about terms of service, which I think is. I haven't finished it.
Okay.
But I want to. But it's just like a super interesting look at like all of that stuff.
Okay.
But I don't think I could, like, that documentary is like an hour and a half. I don't think I could read it every day. I think I'd have to pick Nickelback. They have to have some redeeming quality somewhere
Maybe.
deep in their backlog.
Look at this photograph. God, no. Would you rather know when you're gonna die or how you're gonna die?
I feel like I'd rather know when.
Okay.
Because I feel like then I could, like, adequately
plan things.
prepare.
Okay. Yeah, I get
Unless the how is, like, something super random, like death by shark, and then I would just never go in the ocean, or, like, the aquarium, or I don't know. I feel like I'd have to know when.
that. Okay.
If I knew that, I would be okay with not knowing how. But if I knew how, I would always be on edge, and I don't feel like I could, like, fully embrace life, because I'd always be like,
Yeah.
if it's something like a heart attack, it's like,
As
that can happen at
we're,
any
like,
time.
When we're like, you have like a sort of
A set amount of
timetable, and then
years,
you
yeah.
make yourself like go out and do things and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay. Would you rather give up Marvel, not just the movies, like sort of all of Marvel, or Star Wars?
Marvel,
Okay.
hands down.
Okay.
I'm a DC girl, so, like,
DC's fine. You got Batman. What else you got?
you have Poison Ivy, you have Wonder Woman.
I mean, yeah,
Nightwing,
but that's part of
Robin.
that's part of Batman. Besides the Batman sort of universe collective.
That's all I
characters.
need.
Yeah, that's
I
fine,
don't really
that's fine.
care.
Batman's fucking rad. It's the only
Superman,
rad thing
I'm, like,
about-
coming around on because I read American Alien.
Yeah, and that's a
And I
really,
really,
cool take
really-
on
exactly.
Superman.
I want more people
But
to do
it
things like
took
that.
so fucking long to get there. You know,
know.
I
do
feel
like
like every other
Guardians.
story before American Alien was this very cookie
Yeah,
cutter
I
Superman
don't.
bullshit.
It's weird to say I don't identify with Batman because clearly I don't.
Yeah.
But, like, he doesn't resonate with me on, like, any level for the most part.
That's fine.
But I really like Star Wars.
You don't resonate with a super rich white man? That's so weird. So this is a Gilmore Girls related one. This is from Becky. because some of you may know that
I love Gilmore
you
Girls.
love Gilmore Girls.
Any like 2000s teen drama I probably love, but Gilmore Girls especially.
Would you rather date a Dean or a Jess?
Okay, but there's like caveats to this question of like what time period them, because I like high school Dean, which is a very controversial statement, I am aware. He was like a really good first boyfriend for her, and like he did get kind of crazy there at the end, but then Rory was also kind of shady, and like they didn't deal with it in an adult way, which of course because they're in high school. Yeah. But I really like adult Jess because I think he's like he grew up. Yeah. And he's not just like the dumbass bad boy. He's like an actual human being of substance. And
all right, so let's base it off of like how old you are like
right now.
So like they're sort of in your age range right now.
Then I think I would pick Jess.
Okay.
Because Dean like never left Stars Hollow and was just kind of fine with being in a small town, and I don't think that would work for me.
Okay. Another one from I think Alyssa at this point. Who would you rather have as a boss? Michael Scott, Andy Bernard, or Dwight Schrute?
Oh. The Office is like my second love. The Office is probably my favorite TV show of all time. Yeah. And that's why I don't watch anything else on Netflix, because I just only rewatch The Office.
I'm doing one last rewatch before they take it off.
I don't know what I'm going to do when they do that.
Yeah.
Like I really don't know what I'm going to do.
New things? What?
But like there's some days where I just really want to watch The Injury, or Dinner Party. My favorite episode.
Dinner Party is so cringe.
It's so good. I love because it makes me so uncomfortable. Who would I rather have as a boss? I feel like I want Michael Scott because it just seems so ridiculous. Like my whole life would be like, is this real life? Am I being punked? And I would just love. I think I would get frustrated of like, how do you get to be a manager at some point? But I think I'd be so entertained that I wouldn't even care.
Okay. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Okay.
No hesitation.
So what's your reasoning on that?
I am more of a savory breakfast person in general.
Okay.
But if it comes to sweet, I don't like how crunchy waffles are.
Okay.
I like the soft, fluffy texture of pancakes.
See, I cheat, and I do the
How do you cheat?
French
toast?
The French toast. There you go. Because it puts in a combination of the soft and the crunchy there. So
okay, I see that.
In the middle. Yeah.
I like the absorption levels of both French toast and pancakes. Yep. Waffles.
So for me, sometimes the pancakes get way too fucking soggy, and then they're like too squishy.
Have you ever been to Stacks?
No.
In the city?
Have
you ever been to Stacks? Stacks is really good.
Wait,
we should go to Stacks.
In the Richmond?
There's a few of them.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've been there.
They have a really good macadamia nut banana pancake thing.
Oh, I might have been there. That sounds familiar.
It's really good. We should go to Stacks.
Stacks, then Hawaiian barbecue, then ice cream.
Oh boy.
So
that's a thing.
The last one I have to end the show with. Mm-hmm. So I sent you a picture the other day, and if I'm smart enough, I'll bring this picture up in the video of peas and mayonnaise pizza, and the description came with the picture: pineapple and non-pineapple pizza eaters must put our differences aside and defeat this evil of peas and mayonnaise on pizza.
I hate where this is going.
So would you rather
I hate you so much.
Peas and mayonnaise on pizza or pineapple on pizza?
I have to pick peas and mayonnaise because I am not dying.
Oh my God.
I have made my stance on pineapple on pizza so strongly that there's no way I could ever go back and say that I would rather eat pineapple on pizza.
All right, so you're dying on the hill.
Yeah.
And you're going to the peas and mayonnaise. It's a bold move.
I have no choice. I can't.
Okay.
I don't mind peas. I don't really like mayonnaise. I mean, if it wasn't like drowning in I feel like sushi
is the sauce.
Yeah. Like there's no red sauce, it's just mayonnaise.
It's mayonnaise.
It's just mayonnaise and peas, that's it? Oh, this is awful. I hate you so much. But I have to pick that. I can't pick pineapple on pizza.
Okay. All right. You're dying on that hill.
Yeah, because if I ever conceded that at all, I would never live that down, and I can't deal with that.
I respect that.
I can't do it.
I respect that. You're a strong force.
I don't want to eat it, but I will. If I had to.
Well, thank you for sharing some answers of some fun Would You Rathers. And thank you for being on Zero Life.
Thanks for having me on. It's been fun.
We tried to get you on a couple months ago, and then some weird timing stuff didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we finally got you on the show this week.
Yeah,
it's
really been super fun.
And thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Remember, if you're not a regular of the show, this is Zero Life. We go up, we're a weekly podcast where we talk about nerdy and pop culture and pizza and all that good stuff every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on youtube.com/ZeroLife, and we're on iTunes and Soundcloud and all that good stuff. Soundcloud, it's /ZeroLife show because someone else had Zero Life.
That's annoying.
Bullshit. But yeah, we're on iTunes and all the other sort of Android podcast apps and all that good stuff. You can find me on Twitter if you want to get in touch with me. You know, we have our questions segment every week, so if you want to send questions, I am at Bananalert Sean. Sean is at Sean Twisters. He's usually the other host on this show. And where can people find you on the internet?
I'm at Joey Noelle everywhere except for Reddit because someone else took it. So I'm Joey Noelle 88. Not that anyone really tries to contact me via Reddit very often, but I'm just kind of salty about it.
Yeah, I understand that. And you do work with Kinda Funny.
I do work with Kinda Funny. I'm not usually on camera for a lot of stuff, but I'm usually shouting in the background.
Yeah, they bring you on camera every once in a while.
Spoilers, you might already. I don't know when this will go up on Wednesday.
This will go up this current one.
Then we recorded something really dumb yesterday that should be going up hopefully for the masses.
Okay.
That I think I will be in.
So you're on camera every once in a while.
Yeah.
And you do a bunch of social media work and community management work for them. So check out their content and follow Joey at Joey Noelle on Twitter and all that good stuff.
Perfect.
And thank you guys so much for joining us this week. And until next time, hit the music.